could do this on Zoom. Okay. I was like,
We're live.
did we come here to chat, or did I told her we could just do this on Zoom or Skype or Teams or something. But welcome to Two Chicks and a Wait, wrong channel. Two Chicks and a Radio, where you come for the brownies and you
stay for the tips and
for the mentoring. For the mentoring.
All right. You know.
Yeah. So that is our new slogan now. You come for the brownies.
Come for the brownies.
Stay for the mentoring.
Stay for the mentoring.
What are we going to talk about tonight, Kat?
Well, this isn't everybody's lingo with ham radio. So we're going to be decoding that tonight.
Right. We're going to be hopefully not freezing up. Yeah. I hope my my daughter is like, what brownies? Brownies? I'll make us some brownies, my brownie. Okay. But we are going to talk about brownies in the news tonight. So why don't you, first of all, let's talk about the formalities. This is Two Chicken Radio. I am Rhea, N2RJ, and I'm located in the great garden state of New Jersey. And this is
Kat, WDXY, DixieDX, here in Alabama.
Cool. In space, Rocket City, close enough.
Close to Huntsville, the Rocket City, you know. And here where I live at, we actually build the rockets that have the rocket go up.
You know, I used to enjoy that show on, I think it was Discovery, the Rocket City Rednecks. They were always safety third.
Yes. A bunch of engineers who like to blow crap up.
And always safety third, okay? We believe in safety third, too. So, anyway, in order to get the show, if you are first time here, long time here, we carry the show on 2 channels on alternating weeks. This week is on DixieDX-W4DXY's channel, and on next week and alternating weeks it's going to be on my channel, which is Rhea Shack Ham Radio. Both channels are linked in the description, so if you don't want to miss a show, you can get both channels, you can subscribe both channels, and you can bell both channels, and this way you don't miss our awesome videos. Of course, we both post other videos besides just this live stream. I do a live stream on Sundays. I post some other videos. I do some controversial topics. But how do you get your license and stuff like that? Okay, cool.
Evan already has his license.
Yeah.
I don't even know why. Oh my God, love him to death. He is crazy.
Maybe he's a little. And you have a cup from who? I have a cup from Quick Check, which is a Jersey thing. And you have something Bob Gibson, okay?
Hey, don't knock the white sauce, okay? The white sauce chicken is amazing, and everybody wants to knock it and says, you don't belong with chicken, blah, 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 blah.
I don't.
Once you have it, you'll like it.
Well, I don't know. Look, I like stuff. You know, I like Southern food. I like comfort food. I like all kinds of food. I don't like too much food, but I like enough food. Okay, so we're going head first into the news, and Kat, we got some good ones. Tell us about the news.
Oh, yeah. So let's talk about the Volunteer Monitoring Program report, where apparently we had some people who were very, very naughty, and they might not get anything for Christmas this year from Santa. They were operating out of their frequency and their license.
Right.
Bad.
That's fine.
So that's what we got going on.
So yes, I'll read off some of these violations. Look, we're not beating up on anybody, and I don't even think we're actually identifying anybody in this report. Of course, if I call up Riley, he will tell me exactly who it is. But you know, Riley and I are good friends. So technician operators from Mansfield, Ohio, Avon Park, Florida, Pulaski, Tennessee received advisory notices after making numerous FDA contacts on 20 meters. Technician licensees do not have operating privileges on 20 meters. Okay, Kat, how do you solve that?
you go and get your general license.
Right. Okay.
Or your amateur extra and test up
Correct.
2 times. So
Any ways to study for that?
yes, there's lots of ways to study for that, but my favorite is ham radio prep. I don't know what yours
Okay.
is, but that's mine.
Well, yeah, and there's a video on her channel that you can check out where she goes through the whole thing. Look, I realize, there's a little bit of controversy. There's some videos posted saying, "Oh, you don't need to pay for a license course." I view it this way: some people need it, some people don't. And if you don't need it, more power to you. If you're big in the brain, okay, big in the brain, I'll leave it there. And you have a photographic memory, that's great. If you need a little extra help, there's nothing wrong. And yeah, Evan, we love, I have never been anything but an extra. Okay? I do not know the pain of being a technician. I do know the pain of US segments. But anyway, yeah, so seriously, upgrade, and, if you want to do that, there is some FCC action. The FCC is really slow on a lot of things, and we're trying to get them to do things, but they're just not doing it. A volunteer monitor in Mission Viejo, California, received the Department of Homeland Security, United States Coast Guard Certificate of Appreciation. So you see, not only bad things happen with the volunteer monitors.
Oh,
Received a certificate of appreciation for his efforts in locating a defective transmitter on Marine Radio Channel 16 that was blocking communications on that channel. That's pretty cool. Did you know about marine radios? You know that marine radios have channels, right? Even though they use
just like we do, and it's good for when you're out there on the boat and you get stranded.
Yeah, but they can't exactly change the frequency. They have to use channels, right? Just like CB. And channel 16 is kind of special. Channel 16 is like a calling channel. So they use that, it's monitored for emergencies and, general calls and such like that. That's cool that they found that. I got a laugh for this one. Former licensee in Durham, North Carolina, received an advisory notice. So these advisory notices, by the way, are from the ARRL. Okay, they're not from the FCC. But the FCC has kind of deputized the ARRL to send out notices to some of these, for these violations, because there is a memorandum of understanding with the FCC and the ARRL. It's not just, that the ARRL is taking this upon themselves. The FCC actually has an agreement. And it's not that the ARRL is going to take away your license, because they can't to begin with. But the ARRL, is a friendly reminder saying, hey, you know what? We know you messed up. Here's a reminder. Just be mindful, and, perhaps you didn't know the rules. I got a pink card in the days of official observer because I operated out of band by mistake. It was the heat of a contest. I tuned somewhere I wasn't supposed to, and I transmitted, and I got a pink card lickety-split in the next 3 days. I think these volunteer monitors were just listening. Yeah, so this former licensee in Durham, North Carolina, received an advisory notice for operating under a call sign and a license that was canceled by the FCC. So his license, I don't know.
Wasn't even valid.
Right. And there are a number of these here, and they do some good work. So, they're not the ham police. They're there to help people, but really, really bad cases get referred to the FCC, and we're hoping that there are not that many. Okay. All right. What else is in the news tonight?
Well, the other thing in the news is, excuse me, Richard or Rich Arlen K7SZ of Georgia. He passed away, but he was the author of the Low Power Communication and other ARRL publications, and he was very much an avid QRP enthusiast and experimenter.
Wow. And he wrote for some magazines, right? He wrote for CQ and Popular Communications.
QRP Power and CQ Popular Communications, World Radio, and Monitoring Times.
Wow. Yeah, that's a huge loss. That's a big problem we have. We're losing a lot of talent in this hobby, which is why I think it's very important that we mentor a new generation of ham radio operators and get them to be the future mentors, the future Elmers.
Yeah.
And it's one of the reasons I do what I do, because I want to make sure, I want to help people along in their journey. You know, uh, I want to see people succeed. I want to see this hobby thrive. But it's really sad when we lose this. All right, what else is in the news?
All right, so we've got an upcoming Jamboree on the Air, which takes place this weekend, starting on Friday, ending on Sunday, and it coincides with Support Your Parks. So we have those awesome little Boy Scouts on the radio, or trying to get on the radio. We're going to have a lot more people.
I got to correct you there, Kat. It's not just Boy Scouts.
Oh, Girl Scouts too?
Girl Scouts and brownies. Brownies! You see, I told you there'd be brownies.
You know what?
Well, brownies are what they call, I think that those are Girl Guides in the UK. They call them brownies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought that was like a, they had the brownie troop and the something else troop. I was never in Girl Scouts. I played softball instead.
Yeah, I think they're, the brownies are like the little ones. But,
yeah, the cute little ones.
Yeah, it's some sort of scouting thing. But no, there are two things at play at play here. One of them is that, of course, it's open to all scouting organizations, right? That includes BSA, Girl Scouts, Brownies, whatever. Even if American Heritage Girls, I think, is this kind of scouting organization, wants to take part, it's cool too. Okay. But no, okay. Yeah, the thing is, you want to get the youth on the air, and you want to do that. I took part in a couple of years ago, before all this health nonsense. We had a very, very nice event down in Cranford, New Jersey, for the Girl Scouts. They were doing like a camporee kind of thing for Joda, and we did a live demo for them with I brought my Flex Radio remote control. We brought a HF station and we set it up in the park, and we also bought VHF and UHF. But they were really thrilled by APRS, where I whipped out my radio and I said, I can send a text message to my phone on this, okay? And I don't have to pay Verizon 1 cent. Look at this. And I did that, sent the message. Within a minute, I got on my phone. It was so cool, Yeah. Hey, Kyle, what's going on, man? I appreciate you. Your earlier live stream. I was in the chat in his earlier live stream. So yeah. So yes, there are New York QSO parties, Illinois QSO parties. I could drive right. I could pretty much walk to New York from my house. I live right on the northern border. Could hike through the park and end up in New York State. New York QSO party is always a fun one, by the way. All right, what else is going on?
Well, there's the RSGB 2021 online convention.
And that just concluded.
Yes, it just concluded. Basically, there was a bunch of people watching it, and there was over 15 presentations, and it's currently on YouTube for our viewing at any point in time that we would like.
Okay.
So, and the individual presentations will be released in due course. So, we just need to look out for those things if y'all are interested in those, and I'll post it in the comments, the website.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Virtual conferences are nice to bring in a lot of people, but I think, I want to go back to nice in-person Hamfest, and Orlando is ARRL National Convention, so as long as everything is healthy, I'm going to be there. Yeah, see how that goes. All right, well, yeah, but RSGB usually puts on a good show. What else is going on?
Well, there's a new antenna law in Switzerland.
It's a good antenna law.
Yes. Basically, they introduced an Article 37A in the Switzerland Telecommunications Act, which simplifies the authorization procedure for construction of simple amateur radio antennas. So basically, it's the planning and building laws that Switzerland is mainly regulated by the cantons, which is the municipalities. Then they have their own building regulations. So basically, I believe it's making it easier for them to build antennas.
Yeah, here in the United States, we do have problems with getting permits for antennas, but in other countries, sometimes it borders on really bureaucratic, right? I mean, I was told in Germany you have to get permission not only from the civil authorities, but you also need permission from the military to put up antennas. That's wild. In some places, not all of them. So, all right, and I think is that the
That is
end, or is there?
actually it. And now it's time for us to get into my wonderful, agonizing, no, I'm joking, questions.
Okay, so I'll preface this by those of you who follow me on Twitter, right? At twitter.com. This is me posting in the chat, by the way. Twitter at Ria Jaram. I posted a question, and some people, they're really, into this thing. But I'll explain some of my rationale about things, and hopefully teach Kat some of this stuff that I've learned along the years. So I'll tell you a story early on. There are two stories I'll tell you early on. One of them I was reading in Wayne Green's 73 magazine. Okay, so those of you who've been around a long while and gotta do your, okay, I'll stop. That those of you who are old timers in the hobby, I'm not old-ish. I'm not that old, but I've been in the hobby for quite some time. It'll be 25 years next year, which is going to be awesome. 25. Can you believe that? And one of my early experiences was in Elmer, who kind of really, he called me out on air for using improper phonetics. Well, I use really stupid improper phonetics, okay? And, but, I kind of, shied away from that. But there are some, today when I use phonetics, I do use the standard ones a lot of times. I also do use some non-standard ones for clarity. I'll explain why I do that. That's one. And two, I was reading an article from, well, I actually should go back to that, from Wayne Green's 73 magazine. Okay, so those of you who remember 73 magazine, there's actually a whole archive of that online where you can download all the old issues of 73 magazine. And 73 magazine was a colorful amateur radio magazine. Okay, Wayne Green was a character, right? Those who remember Wayne Green. Wayne Green, oh, Kat, I have to explain this to you. Have you ever, I don't know how much you know about old computer magazines. Do you know Byte magazine? B-Y-T-E?
D-Y what?
T-E, Byte magazine.
Byte.
It's an old computer magazine.
No.
Okay. Anyway, Wayne Green, he founded that, but he also founded a ham radio magazine called 73 Magazine, and he had some colorful opinions. So one of the columns I was reading was about operating on the air and using special language and phonetics and stuff like that. And basically the point of that was speak English, okay? Well, of course, if you speak another language, speak that language, okay? Oops, sorry. StreamYard is wild, okay? I'm going to totally just StreamYard, I think. But, yeah, I used to love reading Wayne Green. Yeah, Wayne Green was a character. So, they gave a conversation and went some like this. Said, W1XYZ, this is K2ABC. How are you doing, old man? And then he said, yeah, old man, I'm just here at Salt Mine. Going to be going to my QTH. There's a lot of QSB and a lot of QRM. So I got to say 73s for now. And I'll catch you on the flip side. And because I just about destinated. An ordinary person listening to this would be like, what the are you saying? Okay? And, it's going to be like, I don't know if you're laughing at me or with me, but it's kind of like, yeah, some people are like, they have this fixation on sounding official on the radio. Okay? Just don't. That's my number one thing. If there's number one thing you got to take away from tonight, Just don't, okay? You speak for clarity. You don't speak to make things sound what they're not. So with that, that's my story. And um, yes, Space Comms, can I get that in text, please? I'm looking for that article. I've been looking for that. I'm going to have to browse through the whole 73 magazine. But the thing is, I have a photographic memory of this thing. And it just stuck in my head. It's for so long. So, Kat, what do you want to know about how we talk in amateur radio and what we should be saying, what we're not saying?
Well, I know we should use the phonetic alphabet that you can find online.
Mm-hmm.
If you type it in, it will tell you, because you have Alpha, Bravo, Charlie,
Right.
Delta, Echo, Foxtrot.
Okay. So let me pull up some.
Hotel, India.
Yeah.
Yeah, all those.
All right, that's a good place to start. Let's start. Let me pull this up from the ARRL because they're a good source of all knowledge. Okay. Communicating with other hams, contact bases, good amateur practices. Okay. Let's start on the left side. Q signals, right? You know what the Q codes are, right?
Yes.
Okay. So so basically Q signals were kind of invented in days of Morse code. Well, we still use Morse code today, by the way. But, when Morse code was dominant. And they kind of made their way over into phone operation with a microphone when they really shouldn't. But there are some times they use it. So back in the days, I think when the railroad was doing telegraphy, they actually have Q signals, and then radio kind of adopted them. But, you have like some of these common ones here, right? You have the QRG, your exact frequency is whatever kilohertz, right? But a common way, you hear him say that is that my QRG is X, Y, and Z. So these could be used in both the form of a statement and a question, right? Like, for example, you can say QRL, question mark, right? Said, is it, and this is on CW, by the way, I operate CW a lot. It says, that's a common way of saying, is the frequency in use? Because, you're going to tap out, it's a frequency in use. That's so long, right? By the time you tap that out, somebody already, spin the dial. So you could just type out QRL, kind of like QRL, then Morse code, right? Or some people just abbreviate that to a question mark, which is kind of too shorthand. But that is one way. And then you'll probably hear another operator come up saying in Morse code QRL. So you have the question, right? A Q code can be both a question or a statement. That's the important thing. Have you ever heard of, last week we talked about amplifiers, right?
Yes.
Right. So amplifiers, and what did you notice I put in the title, I use the word QRO, okay?
Yes.
So QRO has become ham lingo for high power, okay? High power. But it really means increase your power, okay? Or as a question, we need, shall I increase power? So, there's a number of standards of these. In phone, though, they've kind of become shorthand, but they're really not necessary in most cases, especially on FM, when you're talking on repeaters, when you're talking on Echolink, when you're talking on especially digital modes like D-Star or Fusion or DMR. You really don't do it. You really shouldn't do it. And that was the whole point of that 7.3 magazine. Kyle. Okay, Kyle. Kyle, you win the internet tonight, okay? Good one. Anyway, so you really shouldn't be using them on phone, but there are a number of useful ones that you'll hear on phone anyway. And you'll see, Kat, you might recognize a lot of these, right? Which ones seem new to you?
I've seen quite a bit of these, but I'm not familiar with a lot of them. I know QRO, QRP, QFL,
QSO.
Yeah, QSO, yeah, and QTH.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. QTC. QTC. There's a whole contest called the Work to All Europe contest where they pass messages, right? Traffic. They pass traffic. So they have, and it's one of my favorite contests, by the way, the Work to All Europe contest. So the way that contest goes is you would operate as you normally do, and then sometimes European station, and I'll say it in my best German voice. Do you have any QTCs? You have QTCs for me? And then I say, yes, I do have QTC. And then I send out the QTC, which basically I read off my last set of contacts, up to 10 of them, right? So I look into my log and my contest software brings them up. Well, I'm going to do a whole YouTube episode on this contest because this is a really intriguing topic. I actually won that contest in 2017, by the way. But yeah, and then you send the message, right, in the QTC, and then they copy, and after each one they say, Roger, Roger, in this really sexy German voice. And then, it's like they say, okay, thank you. And then, bam, you gave them some points. You gave them points and they're happy for that. And it's a really fun contest. I really love the QTCs. On CW, you do it as well, too, right, on Morse code. But on phone, it's fun, too. So they really practice their traffic handling. That's QTC. Another common one, I'm jumping all over the place here, but I want to go with some of the common ones you might not realize. QSO, you know what QSO is, right? A conversation, right?
Yep.
Do you know, but it was framed as I can communicate with this person direct or relay, or can you communicate with, and then basically these Q codes, whoops, my light went off. Anyway, they come in as kind of a question or an answer. So yeah, it's there's a number of different things with these Q codes. On FM though, I encourage people to speak English, like I said. So a typical FM repeater conversation, I would start off, let's say a general call. I would and by the way, this is not just good practice. This is the law. You should always, because you don't want to end up on that volunteer monitor report that we talked about earlier for breaking the law. I start off by identifying my station, and I say N2RJ listening. Okay, that's it. Or if I want to break into a conversation repeater, I say that's my call sign, N2RJ. And then if I'm calling and you listening and you hear N2RJ listening, you will say N2RJ. This is W4DXY. And then we get into a normal conversation in English, because I assume you speak English, Like, then we would talk about, I don't know, the weather, which is one thing hams talk about, right? So, and of course, you've talked on repeaters before, right?
Oh, yeah. I've talked on those before. Those are fun.
Yeah. And then, of course, Echo Link as well, right?
Yes, I've done that too.
Okay. There are some nice nets on Echo Link I'm on regularly, by the way. We have the India net, and we have YLUp net, and we have a few other nets we're on too. So you should check in sometime. But yeah, and then we have our conversation, like, during drive time, I might say, hey, the traffic is heavy here, and I really, I'm probably all sorts of things I talk in a repeater. I talk about how, well, I don't talk about details of work, but I talk about things I might have seen, or things I might have done. And in the end, I say, okay, guys, well, it's been nice chatting, but I got to go and get inside now and get dinner, or I might have to pass by the kids' school and pick them up. So I'll say 73, and I'll see you later. Okay? And that's it. And that's English on FM. Really simple, because FM is crystal clear, the digital modes are crystal clear, and you want to definitely make sure that you have clarity, right? You don't want to muddle it up with all sorts of improper language. Now, on HF, it is kind of a different matter, okay? HF, you're dealing with two things. One of them is the propagation conditions, right? You might have marginal band conditions. You might have where you have also interference called QRM. And because of that, it sometimes gets rough to copy, to hear the other side and hear clearly what they're saying. So you might want to use these Q signals here to clarify things from time to time, because people will instantly recognize those, whereas they might not recognize plain English. So, you could use that definitely to clarify the conversation, right? The other thing that is an issue on HF, especially if you work DX, I found this out, is the language barrier. So I don't know how much HF, how much DX you work, Kat. Have you worked a lot? Well, I don't think you worked a lot, but have you at least talked to anybody overseas, probably when you're operating contests or something?
I've done QSOs. Only thing I've really talked to is Canadians.
Okay.
Our brothers from another mother across the border. Oh my goodness. I hear Molson now.
I have many good friends who are Canadians. I have friends I meet up at the ARRL meetings. I have friends who are just Canadians, and people.
I have a friend who's Canadian.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
What's their call sign, eh?
Actually, I went to school with a pair of sisters, and they were Canadians originally. The one that graduated with me moved back to Canada. So.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
My uncle was Canadian. He passed away. He used to live in Winnipeg, and he owned a small engine shop. He used to sell and repair snowblowers, right? Because what else do you sell? Do you know what's long and hard on a Canadian? Winter. That's a joke. I'm sorry.
Oh my God, you caught me off guard with that one. And my brain went into the gutter. So long into the gutter, like in the gutter.
That joke was told to me by a very Canadian friend of mine who, who's a ham radio operator, Peter W2IRT. Yeah, snowblowers, down in the south, come on. You guys get probably like 2 seconds of winter, right? Where it drops to like 50 degrees. Yeah. So, no, my friend who's a Canadian, Peter W2IRT or VE3THX, he lives in New Jersey now, and he's an American citizen, dual citizen of America, of USA and Canada. He told me that. So, but anyway, back to the thing. Even when you're talking to foreign radio amateurs, believe it or not, especially some of the older ones, they don't really speak. They don't have a full understanding of English, right? They might understand German, because German's kind of like a very common language in Europe, and they might understand. The Italians, of course, understand Italian. The Eastern Europeans might understand Russian and German. Because German's kind of like a standard language in the EU. And then, so you have this language barrier, but they do know the basic language to make radio contacts, right? They will know, how to make a call. They will know the call signs. They will know, and they will know these Q codes. So in this case, there's really nothing wrong with using these Q codes when there is a language barrier on phone, right? And it kind of helps ease up things a little bit. And, I have this kind of discussion with people, and people say, well, you should just not use these on phone at all. But, it's all situation dependent. I've had many a time when, I try to speak, when I was, very much beginning, I tried to speak just regular English, and they said, I'm sorry, I don't understand. And then I switched to using the ham lingo, and then they're like, okay. I say my QTH is New Jersey, instead of saying I live in New Jersey in the Northwest. I said my QTH is Northwest New Jersey, and I give them a grid square. And that's yeah. And Q codes are international. Yeah, Kyle, that's a good point. Now let's go on to everybody's favorite topics, the phonetic alphabet. And I'm sure this is going to give some people heartburn. Say your call in phonetics, Kat.
My call sign phonetics?
Yeah.
All right. Whiskey 4 Delta X-ray Yankee.
Okay, that's a good start. So there are two schools of thought on this. There are people who think that, well, this is just a suggestion, and there are some people who think that this is a hard and fast rule. I will tell you that I go in between, and I have very good reasons for doing that. So there is a standard phonetic alphabet that you see on the right side, but if you notice, you have the letters, you have the words, and then you have the pronunciation, right? So your call would actually be pronounced whiskey 4, right? And you have to emphasize the 4, right?
4.
4, right? Yeah, 4. Delta, right? You don't say delta, you say delta, and then you go X-ray. So you have to put an emphasis. X-ray Yankee. In English, we kind of, yeah, so you say whiskey 4, Delta, X-ray, Yankee, okay? And sometimes you might have to go a little slow. But if you say whiskey 4, Delta, X-ray, Yankee, that's still not saying the phonetics properly. In some languages, like Chinese and Japanese, Asian languages, a little pronunciation makes a big difference. When I was learning Japanese, and I'm kind of a little good with Chinese because I do some business with Chinese companies. They're, yeah. Excuse me, there are some nuances. Some words completely change the meaning if you have a little difference in pronunciation. So anyway, right. And then you have words like November, right? And you notice the bold, it tells you that these pronunciations would be emphasized when they're bold. Say Juliet, right? So I would go November to Romeo, Juliet, okay? November to Romeo, Juliet, right? And you have to be careful to say the syllables properly. I found that in marginal band conditions that sometimes that people might copy my call sign as November to Romeo Zulu, right? They might hear in the band conditions. So a lot of times I clarify November to Romeo Juliet, and in the next syllable I'll say November to Radio Japan. Radio is a word that everybody knows, and Japan is a common substitute for Juliet. So, and I get chastised for that, and I had this long thread with this guy on Twitter who was saying, well, you should just stick with the standards. And no, the truth is that it's situation dependent, that it's perfectly fine to use alternates from time to time. You definitely should not, put things that don't make it, that make it difficult to understand, right? The idea is more clarity, not less. And let me see if I could bring this up on Twitter. I'm not going to show everybody's Twitter comments, even though Twitter is public, but I want to read off some of these here, right? Let's see here. So I put up the question: what's the most annoying ham lingo you've heard people misuse or use, right? And we'll talk about some of these, but Mike Kate MRD had to defend ham harder. But yeah, that's okay. You could ham harder and you could ham smarter. All right. I'm trying to look for this. Okay. Please copy. Oh, crap phonetics outside, which is taught for license Mexico 0 Unit. Okay. Yeah. So the thing is, this person is from the Isle of Man. Not the Isle of Man. Guernsey, which is part of UK, and I actually got my first license by passing the UK exam. In the license book, they actually mention a few alternatives. Like, for example, kilowatt is a common alternative for kilo. And, it works because it's longer, because it tends to increase your average power of the transmission, and this way you're getting more RF out into space, right? And then your receiver will pick up this more signals, so you will have a chance of working better in bad conditions. So that's what people do, and I operate under some pretty rough conditions, contesting where the band is jam-packed with people. So let's see here. 5-9 kilo, okay. T-Ray. Kilo 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yankee, Victor, Yankee. Yeah, and that's one way they clarify. They might count out the numbers, but I don't think that's really necessary. So you kind of get what I'm saying, Kat. You have to be like situation dependent, right? Are you there?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I said it can't just be a hard and fast rule. It really depends on the situation, right? Okay. So let's see. Yeah, and the numbers, believe it or not, James KI5OEB. That's correct. The numbers even have special pronunciation. There's actually an evolution to this, and I'll show you. I'm going to bring up Wikipedia because it's just a convenient place to bring all the information. But the international, there has been evolution over the years, and there is no law saying you have to use this, but it is kind of suggested. Let me see. ICAO, it's used by the International Civil Aviation Organization. I mean, the people who fly aircraft use it, right? And the NATO phonetic alphabet is used for military. So okay, so let's see here, and we'll remove this, and I'm going to add on. Stop the screen share. Add this new one. Okay. NATO. Okay, there we go. Right. So it tells you the international radio telephony. People write these Wikipedia articles. They love to type. And that's like how I love to hear myself talk. It's a bad thing. So you notice there was an evolution to this, right? And back in like the early days, not this. From like the 1920s, they use placing. They use Argentina, Brussels, Canada, Damascus, Ecuador, France, etc., etc. Lima apparently is one that stuck for all the way back to the latest one. Okay, and Quebec, right? And Quebec, by the way, is pronounced Quebec, where we emphasize the second syllable. Okay, Victoria, and Victoria got shortened to Victor. Okay, not Victor, Victor, right?
Victor.
And I guess Victor.
Or Valencia.
Victor. I guess it sounds kind of British. Victor.
Victor.
Whiskey. Okay. They had Z was Zanzibar. I think they kind of stopped using Zanzibar because it has connotations to slavery.
Zebra.
Zulu, Zurich, Zebra, Theta, and then they went with Zulu. Okay, but you have to emphasize the first syllable.
Yokohama.
Zulu. Yeah, Yokohama is still used by a lot of people because it's longer, but now they say Yankee, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if I say my Trinidad call, Niner Yankee 4, Romeo Juliet. No, Romeo Juliet. Romeo Juliet. So, yep. Yeah, so real good stuff. You can check this out. I'll probably dump this. This whole article here has a whole history of everything, and you know, you're not gonna cook it about order from the Zanzibar. Yeah, this ARR.
Sandbar. Yes, Joe, we're at Sandbar.
Zanzibar. Okay, Niner. Yeah, and here they even tell you like the numbers. There's the numbers here. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. You don't say 3. You say 3. You say 4, 5, 6,
6,
7,
7, 8.
8, 9er, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then 100 and then 1,000, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I guess they try to make it neutral with accents and stuff like that. They have the army using it too. The army does it too. I saw in some of these army documents they had where they actually in army recruitment they were kind of showing people. I don't know why. Maybe they're trying to recruit. It's a funny thing. Somebody was telling me that how the army is really short of communication specialists, which used to be known as the radio men, and they kind of they're looking to get that. So if anybody knows anybody of that age, I'm too old to join the army, but they will they will gladly take your skills. All right. Okay. So what else do you want to know about phonetics?
I don't think there's really much more about phonetics.
Okay.
So what is the difference between operating on HF and VHF?
So like I mentioned, the HF and VHF. So VHF, remember you use plain English, right?
Yes.
Because it's VHF. No, it's important. VHF FM and
Mm-hmm.
VHF digital, right? Meaning voice digital modes like D star, DMR, etc. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But VHF SSB single sideband, you'll find yourself using um, the same procedures as HF. I remember running contests with Andrea K2EZ, and she was like when we finished a contact, we couldn't, and it was fading out. The person was fading out. We would be like Roger, 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 Roger for like 15 seconds, trying to get them to confirm that they made a contact, and then maybe on one of the overs they would come back in. But yeah, that's pretty cool. Let's see, the Army is hiring. Yeah, yeah. I'm too old to join yet. My brother's in the Navy. Actually, I'm gonna see him. He has a good time. He enjoys his work. Let's see here. No secret messages. Oh yeah. So these are actually in the amateur radio. There's a Part 97 regulation that says that you can't obscure the meaning of communication. But since everybody knows these, you're not really obscuring anything. All you're doing really is using a standard code. So yeah, that's a good one. Right. So other things we say. Let's talk about signal reports. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever you've given signal reports in contests, right?
Yeah, like your 5.9 in Alabama or 5.5 or 5.4.
Do you know what a signal report is?
No, I just know that's what I was told to say.
So all you say is 5.9, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's cool. My friend Christian K0STH, I hate to make another bad joke. He used to have a song on his podcast that goes, "Everybody 5.9, 5.9, bounce it." Yeah, you remember that, Kyle? Okay, Kyle. But no, yeah. So that's where in a contest you give everybody 5.9 because the signal reports are meaningless. So um, there's RST report, right? The RST reports, um, they're basically a subjective. They're, I think the only part of this really is that is objective is the how should I put it? The S part. So you have three parts to this. You have readability, R, S, the signal strength, T for tone. Okay? We'll leave off tone for now because that's specific to Morse code. Readability goes on a scale of 1 to 5. Okay? So 1 being unreadable, 2 being barely readable, 3 being readable with difficulty, 4 readable with little difficulty, and 5 perfectly readable. Okay? Strength, right? Barely detectable, very weak signals, 2. 3, S3 would be weak signals, S4 fair signals, S5 fairly good signals. I should just share this, and you'll see here, so you could follow along. And share. Okay. So this is from W6AER, right? And this is pretty standard stuff. So we're going signal strength, barely detectable, 2 very weak signals, 3 weak signals, S4 fair signals, S5 fairly good signals, S6 good signals, etc. 7 for moderately strong, 8 for strong signals, and very strong signals. Okay? Your S meter on your from this, it would seem like the S meter on your radio really doesn't, correlate to this, because somebody could be, a S2 and not be that weak. But let's stick with the S meter. So the typical S meter in a radio is calibrated, right? It's aligned to minus 73 dBm, right? So the decibel milliwatt scale, the minus 73 dBm at S9. So S9 on a properly calibrated S meter is minus 73 dBm, and it goes all the way down. Okay? A lot of manufacturers, they probably loosely follow that. Some of them do, some of them don't. I know my Flex radio, they make a point to do it, and I'm really wondering if I bring up my radio if it's going to slow down my whole system. But I'm probably going to try to do it anyway. And I want to show you that what happens when my radio on. Okay. We'll look at some technical signal strengths on the band. Okay, I don't know if we're going to get audio. Okay. Yeah, StreamYard, don't fail me now. Okay. I'll remove this, and I'm going to do something here. Stop. Mike is very good at honest reports. Okay. Yeah, that's cool. Give me honest signal report. Here we go. Let's see if you see this pan adapter, right? Probably going to be very slow. This is my radio, right?
Okay.
This is my very cool Flex radio. And I'll go to 40 meters because there are people on 40 meters. Right? This is Smart SDR for Mac OS, by the way. As you can tell, I'm on a Macintosh. Right? So you notice up here, you see the signal strength in dBm. It's probably really small. Minus 100 dBm. But you tap that, and trying to see here. By the way, you notice it corresponds to this S meter value below here, like it's bouncing between S5 and S7, right? Trying to find a truly S9 somebody. During these poor band conditions, I don't think anybody's really 5'9" right now. 5'9" is such fakery. I'm gonna have to find a. I don't want to put a broadcast station. I'll probably put a copyright strike on the channel. But 74. Okay. Minus 85. Minus 81. So, okay. Let me try 80 meters. 3820. 86. 80 meters is all kind of noisy. So you see this one here is going above, and we probably have some thunderstorms coming. This one is going well above the S9 mark. So because of that, you know, it's minus 61 dBm, which is, you know, higher than minus 73, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So this is what a properly calibrated S meter looks like. Essentially, is my point. Okay. Let's see here. All right. Yeah. Yeah. Some people use 5.3 and booming in better than 5.9 plus. Yeah, that happens sometimes. Yeah. Signal reports are only valid. Yeah, please copy. Please don't say please copy because I will just say not in log. I'm kidding. Okay. Alrighty. So that is the signal report for phone. Okay. Now in addition to phone, you have in Morse code we also give the quality of the tone, and that is the last component, the T, right? RST for tone. Alright. Tone here, and this goes back to the old days when people were running really, you know, really terrible transmitters. 1, extremely rough note. 2, very rough note. 3, rough note, fairly rough. Note modulated with strong ripple, and by ripple they mean the ripple from the power line, right? So you hear the buzz from the power line there. 6, modulated note. Near DC note with smooth ripple. Near DC note, low tracer ripple, PR DC note. I will tell you right off the bat that anything below T9 in a transceiver built within the last 20 years, okay, is defective. And you should take that off the air because you're probably violating FCC rules for signal purity. So anything beyond T9 that doesn't sound clean, yeah, you shouldn't be running that on the air. So I think really this T is just there for legacy reasons. Like I mentioned, contesters and such and DXers, we give everybody 5995. So yeah, I don't think I've heard anything other than a 9 file. So the antennas were longer back then. Were they really? Ron Walensky, NAWCR. So Kat, have you ever heard what chirp is?
No.
Okay, that's fine because you haven't operated Morse code, right?
No.
So in Morse code, you'll hear like somebody when they transmitted Morse code, you'll hear the tone go. You know, you'll either hear a pure tone that goes beep, or you'll hear one that, excuse me, kind of like sounds like it was like a little beep, 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 beep. You know, so that's called a chirp, right? Where it kind of varies in frequency as it comes on. That's a common. There are 2 main problems with CW signals that a lot of operators experience. One of them is called chirp, right, where it varies in frequency. It sounds, you know, it starts off at a high note and then it gets lower as the transmitter speed. Yeah, and a lot of them have chirp. I believe chirp might be denoted by a letter and behind it. I think C is for key clicks. I'm not sure what chirp is in RST. I'm trying to look it up here, to be honest. Letter C is for chirp. Okay, so letter C is for chirp, right? So if you get a signal report that says 599C, that means that you have chirp on your signal. So something that's 599K would be key clicks. You know, and key clicks are like a thumping kind of noise at the beginning and end of the of keying the transmitter. Okay. Let's see here. Yeah, and it was very common back in the old days for a lot of these old transmitters to sound like, you know, garbage because they were using modest equipment. They were using homemade equipment, and it just wasn't a very good quality. They were using Aren't you glad you're a ham today when we could have all these newfangled transmitters? But I guess it wasn't, like
Yeah.
it's not, a lot of um people romanticize amateur radio back then. So, all right. Have you operated any keyboard digital modes like PSK or RIDI or anything like that?
No.
No?
Mm-mm.
Okay. You should try it sometime. But the point being that the RST signals are similar for those, right? Except that I believe the last number, right? So you have like the 599 is reserved for signal quality. Okay. Now in FT8, they actually ditch all of that. We don't use any RST reports in FT8 or other things. We use just the straight signal to noise ratio. And FT8 WSJT calculates its own signal reports using decibels. So yeah, pretty cool stuff. Baofeng antennas are 1 qubit in length. Okay. What is a qubit? Is that some kind of imperial? I know it's imperial measurement. I don't know how much
Yeah,
a qubit is. Do you know?
it's imperial. No, but I know it's imperial measurement because it's C to the power of 3.
Okay. It says here qubit is an ancient unit of length based on the distance from the elbow to the middle finger, right? So the distance from the elbow to the middle finger. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm still live streaming. Sorry. He didn't
No.
know I was live streaming. He came to say goodnight. But
Good night.
he's gone. Yeah.
Oh.
Tip of your finger to your elbow. Yep, that's true. And yeah, Baofeng antenna. I think isn't the Abri that length? You know, I don't know the Abri antennas. I don't know. Oh, AJK, I know that. I'm just I just like to bring the comments in. Yeah. So anybody in the audience have any questions about the lingo? I'll then proceed to the Twitter comments. I'm not going to roast anybody. I was tempted to roast people, but let's see here. So, okay, clear and monitoring, right? And I should just bring this up where you're clear and monitoring. I think clear and monitoring is kind of redundant. When you're clear, right, or it's contradictory. Okay. So I said, what is the most annoying ham lingo you've heard people misuse or overuse, right? Okay, we'll deep dive into this. Clear and monitoring from Jagger, okay. Ham as a verb. No, I don't think so. I think that's just for fun. Calling. So by the way, yeah, ham is not an acronym, It's not anything. The origin of the term ham, we talked about the overuse of Q signals. Calling ham radio just ham, saying destinated, okay? Yeah, I think destinated came from CB or something. XYL and OM. You know what the difference between YL and XYL?
Isn't it XYL your ex-wife?
No.
Oh.
XYL is a married lady, and YL is generally any
Single
lady.
and ready to mingle.
Yeah, but it's kind of like, I don't know. Some people think it's kind of derogatory because XYL means ex young lady, right? Like former young lady, meaning that somebody, they got married and they became not a young lady anymore because they're
That
married.
makes them an OL.
Nah, I don't think they use that. It used to mean, I think they really use it to mean unlicensed spouse. It's just something that just stuck and just nobody really bothered to get rid of it. But yeah. Okay. He told me not to. Elmer. Do you like the word Elmer?
No, it sucks. It's like Elmer Fudd.
That's what I'm thinking. What is a good
When he
replacement?
goes around with a little bitty gun, he goes, "Ooh, I'm gonna shoot that rabbit." Ooh, gonna shoot that rabbit.
The Westerly rabbits. Yeah, I know.
You rascally rabbits.
Yeah, Elmer. I don't like the term Elmer. I like the term mentor. It kind of it embodies it perfect. So I tend not to use the term Elmer unless sometimes there are like radio events that have like an Elmering component. That's fine.
Yeah, but what do you call a female Elmer?
They've been trying to find one. They call them YLRL. Some of us try to call it Elmira, but I think that's just patronizing, to be honest. I just say, you know what, just mentor. HI, oh my God. Janie went off on millennials. Okay. HIHI. Do you know the origin of HIHI? And do you know what it means in ham radio?
Hi, hi. Hi, hi. No.
No. It's supposed to mean that you're laughing in ham radio. Okay?
Oh, you mean hee hee hee?
And that's close, because in Morse code, when you tap that out in Morse code, it actually sounds a little bit like laughter. Okay? That is where the term HIHI came from. But then, of course, people had to come and ruin it. And then, literally, you're talking on the radio, said, I just cracked a funny joke, HIHI. I mean, really, just laugh, Yeah. But, that's annoying with millennials. Okay, this person's trashing millennials. It means LOL and CW. That's exactly what it means. Yep. Let's see. 73s instead of Alan Walker. By the way, he has a really nice channel. He talks about a lot of test gear and such like that. And, he's a W2AEW. 73s instead of 73. You know what 73 means, right?
Oops. Yes, it means bye.
It means best. It means best regard.
Or best regards.
Right. So basically, what you're saying is best regards is when you say 73s. But you want to know something?
What?
It's just a hobby, okay? And if some people say 73s, so what? I don't go, making them feel bad or anything. I just say, well, it's like saying best regards is, but it's okay. I understand the sentiment. Back in the old days, the old man, Hiram Percy Maxim, used to use 73s as well as USL cards. I have a short on my channel showing one of his old cards. You can actually see it. So if you look on my channel, you'll see that too. Excuse me. Oh, there's 73s that belong to us. Okay. QSL. Let's see. Morse code. Okay. 4ID. Oh my gosh. Why would somebody say my call sign 4ID?
I don't know.
Why? You're already saying your call sign. You don't need to say 4ID. That's like saying my name is Rhea for name.
Okay, Rhea, for name. Nice to meet you.
No, that's like saying my name is Rhea, and by the way, I just said my name.
I know.
All right. Well, people try to develop a ham radio personality to address anxieties. Yeah, it kind of does. I think though that we should definitely try to make communication as clear as possible. And that kind of okay. We talked about Destinated 73s. The Daily DX, yeah, they're good. Bernie. I give him a like. I like Bernie. Bernie's a good guy. Okay. I say QRN. Oh, Kat. I gotta teach you this one. What's the difference between QRN and QRM?
I don't know.
You don't know? It's okay. That's okay. That's a perfect good answer. QRN, okay? QR Nancy, QR November, QRN is natural noise, okay? Atmospheric noise, right? Static crashes from lightning, from static electricity, from all sorts of natural stuff, right?
Right.
QRM, as in QR mic, is when humans come on the air and they interfere with you. Okay? Like somebody, they're transmitting less than 2 kilocycles, 3 kilocycles away from you, 3 kilohertz away from you, and they interfere with your transmission. That's QRM. Okay? That's between QRN and QRM. Okay.
Play it. I've already seen it. Play it.
Okay. All right, we're gonna do a few more of these. Yeah, and then we're gonna wrap it up. But Ham Radio DX, hey, Hayden, I saw Hayden took time to reply. Says just listening on the side, the side of what, the road.
Just listening on the side. I mean, that could be a lot of things. It kind of makes my my guy brain go to the left a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, listening on the side of mashed potatoes or something. Probably that was probably.
Somebody's over here talking about they love my responses. Somebody goes, "Oh, it comes about honest," and the other one goes, "I know, bless her heart." Oh my God!
Oh, God.
Do you even realize what bless her heart means? You know what bless her heart.
I know what it means. I'm not going to say it on channel.
Okay.
I'll tell you in private chat.
I know what it means. I mean, does anybody really not understand what it means? I mean, oh my goodness.
Yeah, I know.
Bless your heart. Oh my goodness.
I used to work with Todd Starnes, and he used to say "bless your heart" all the time.
Butter her biscuits.
Yeah. Okay. Phonetics. Hi. Never tell anyone your piece. The fake laugh. Yeah. Fine business. Fine business. That's a carryover from Morse code that doesn't really. I guess people say that sometimes because they wanna say something that their brain is not processing yet. Fine business. Okay, that's kind of like ham lingo. That basically means good stuff, or that's cool, or good stuff. It's kind of like an analogous to that. People just say that just to say that. Okay. Over and out. I don't really hear that much on ham radio anymore, really. So, and somebody says you should all shut the radio off. Okay, I won't, but you get the point. All right, guys and gals, and everybody else. Thank you very much. Kat, do you have any closing remarks?
Other than bless your heart means a lot of different things. It can mean thank you. It can also be an insult, where you're going, oh, like, oh my goodness, she really did say that. Holy cow. Oh, no. So no, I'm not bless your little heart. So anyway, that's all I gotta say.
James, yeah, I will tell you that there is a meme, okay, that basically says bless your heart really means blank you in Southern.
It can be. It can be a lot of things. Bless your heart can be a lot of things. I do say it quite often when I speak of somebody. So.
Oh, well, bless your heart.
Okay. Bless her little heart. Ooh,
bless your heart, Suge. All right, guys, this has been Two Chicks in Radio, and we'll join you guys.
Subscribe. Hit the notification bell on both channels. Otherwise, you're going to miss crap, and then you don't want to miss this. And, yeah, I mean, she's awesome. I'm awesome. We're awesome. So 73, guys. We'll see you next week.
73, everybody. We'll see you next week. Have a good one.
Bye.
See ya.